questions for Coach Harper, please.
Now that you've had time to rewatch that LSU game, what stood out that's a positive and what stood out that's a negative that needs to be cleaned up?
Well, I think we competed. I think that was a big positive. I thought we, tried to play physically around the basket. Obviously, we did a pretty good job rebounding and hustling for opportunities there. The negative was our offensive efficiency and our lack of movement in the half court offense. So we've been addressing that, and we'll continue to work on it.
Texas A&M has been without India Rogers. Not sure if she's coming back, but last time against them, the struggle was more facing their defense. Just for you, what's kind of the emphasis going to the second matchup with them, and how to have a better offensive outing than last time?
Yeah, I think, definitely one of their strengths is their defense. We really struggled. They did a great job covering inside, outside. They were very, very physical with us. And we just didn't have the pop. I think for them this time we're still going to see that. We're still going to see their physicality. They get out in transition. They ran really well in transition against us, and then they did a good job on the board. So it was a little bit all-encompassing at A&M. So we know we've got to be better in a lot of areas.
On Monday on radio, you mentioned that practice kind of shifted more from drill focus to game-like scenarios. What does that look like in practice, and kind of what made you want to make that shift? Yeah,
I think our biggest area for improvement is the 5-on-5, and it's the reading, and it's after you've been up and down the floor multiple trips, being able to execute. So I felt like our time was best utilized in those 5-on-5 scenarios rather than maybe an offensive breakdown or a defensive breakdown, which we do throughout the year. We just felt like, really jumping right in and getting to the meat of it with the 5-on-5 action.
Were there any scenarios or games in particular that made you want to make that jump to more 5-on-5 practices?
We've been trending that way as a team. I think just it's not just one thing. It's just the overall 5-on-5 offensive execution, which is where we need to keep working and keep getting a little bit better, and trying to not get stalled out, not get stagnant in our half court.
With senior night tomorrow, just as someone who's played here, how would you describe what it means to play that final home game inside of the Summit?
Yeah, it's a big deal. I think it can be pretty emotional for players when they think of what they've been able to do and what opportunities they've had putting that jersey on, playing in front of our crowd. To me, that was the thing that I loved about playing here, was playing in front of our crowd. And it's special, and there always should be some emotion to that.
On that topic, what does this senior class into?
Well, we're still in this COVID year that, we're still trying to figure out who seniors are every year, and I think the landscape's different now with transfers also. But, for us, the seniors, being a senior at Tennessee, again, you're carrying a torch, you're part of a tradition, you're part of a legacy. And they're all special, and I love every one of them dearly. And, they all bring something different to this program.
You mentioned the COVID years, Rakia and Jasmine are the only ones out of eligibility. Is it kind of a similar situation to last year where people who have the option to come back haven't really made those decisions yet? Yeah, we're
looking at a situation where we've been so focused on our team, the current team, and we've been really locked in to current games that players just haven't had the opportunity to really sit down and think about next year per se. Destiny is in a different situation, so she won't attend the senior festivities just because we are expecting the red shirt with her, and she'll be able to play again. So, but everybody else, it's unfortunate that the timing of it can really skew your senior day, but I think we had 7 last year, and we'll have 5 this year.
How has having good practice players to go up against the Lady Vols in practice really elevated the team this year?
Our practice players can make a huge difference in our performance. They are the preparation. We're going in to play a game, and we really need a good, honest look by our practice team about what we're going to see. And I'm telling you, they have delivered time and time again this year. They are so committed, and it's not always fun for them to be out there and, you know, maybe play defense for 15 straight minutes, or, you know, they've got to be somebody they're not because we're working on a specific team. But they're so dedicated, and they really do love this program.
You mentioned the rebounding from last matchup. That was early in the conference slate. It feels like with the game the way you rebounded against South Carolina, LSU, this team is in a different spot in terms of rebounding. But with players like Janiah Barker, Lauren Ware, just people who can get after on the boards, how are you feeling, I guess, confidence-wise going into the second matchup on the boards? Yeah,
they're going to start 4 players that are really, really good on the boards. And for us, it takes everybody. We have to do a really good job being physical. We have to anticipate shots, and then we have to have help. We you know, I might be able to box you out, but somebody else needs to come get the ball. We did a really good job of tracking on those balls in the last few games, so there's no doubt it's going to be super important for us going into this game.
Jasmine Pallett mentioned earlier this year how she viewed this season a little bit as a redemption year after last year. Just how do you feel like she's kind of embodied that leading up to senior night tomorrow?
Yeah, I think you know, she is a lot better this year than she was last year. And I think a lot of that has to do with her comfort level, her confidence. She's a better basketball player when she's playing confidently, as most people are. But you know, I know she wanted more last year, so I'm really proud of her for, you know, you pick up stat sheets and see how she's affected our games numerous times, you know, whether it's assists or rebounds, and, you know, and then sometimes that stat sheet doesn't show the things that she does well on the defensive end.
Coming off a shooting night like LSU where you didn't shoot as well from beyond the arc, is there a different message to the team after that, or anything different with the game plan?
No, you know, sometimes you're not going to make shots, and you've got to work to get better shots in those situations. You know, I thought we had some good looks and didn't knock them down. You know, we've made sure we've gotten in the gym, and like we always do, we're taking game-like shots, whether that's off the dribble or, you know, off the catch. We try to go the speed we need to go. But you just got to keep working. I think in those situations, maybe find an offensive board when those shots aren't falling.
After the fourth quarter against LSU, have there been any changes to make sure you're bringing that same intensity for 40 minutes?
Yeah, you know, I think we went back and looked at things in our fourth quarter to see where we were. We just went empty offensively too much. They made a couple really nice plays defensively. We got gapped out on our defensive end and gave them some easy looks. So there are a lot of things that we can cure, but we've got to have the energy, you know. And I think in the fourth quarter, we've got to find ways to get that going again, and we're working on it. We're working on it in practice.
Quick follow-up: do you think fatigue played any role in that fourth quarter?
You know, I thought the fatigue hit us more against South Carolina. I thought maybe a little mental fatigue against LSU. They made a run and we didn't have an answer for it. That looked a little bit more mental. In those moments, you've got to be able to stop the bleeding. And we watched that as a group. We talked about it. We're trying to simulate some of those opportunities in practice, you know, late in practice. Okay, now we're in our fourth quarter. So to try to help those situations.
Lots of emotions on Thursday night, and then also a trip to #1 South Carolina on Sunday. Is there anything you tell the team different to focus just on Thursday's game, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, they won't look ahead. They won't look ahead to this Sunday game. They understand that this Thursday game's a big game, and it's important that we play well. I think we will have to discuss a little bit of the senior emotions that you'll have on senior day. We'll talk about that a little bit as a team, but for the most part, we'll keep things as structured as we typically do.
Do you feel like the team feels that urgency that you're on that 5-4 line, maybe for a double bye in the SEC tournament?
Yeah, they understand. I think they get it. You can only control you. So we've got to go out and do the best we can do and take care of us, be the best we can be on Thursday, and then turn around and be the best we can be on Sunday. And then whatever happens, happens. Obviously, you can't go back and rewind, replay another game at this point.
How would you say that Rakia has really embodied what it means to be a Lady Vols, specifically in this last year, her final season with you guys?
Yeah, I think she has. She's embraced the stage, the competitiveness of being a Lady Vol. I think has been there. She wants to be part of the great players. I think, she's someone that's pretty loyal at her core. So I think she's one that's going to, walk away from here and be proud to have worn orange.
The LSU game was pretty intense, as their games tend to be, I guess, but there was a lot of, extra emotion, some, talking and all of that, and to, have a game where you come very close and then end up losing. Is there like an emotional kind of reset that has to happen after that game, or an emotional come down from a game like that?
I think we've had enough time that, the emotions kind of settle in. We try to keep it very schematic. We try to keep things very objective. Here are the things we need to do different. Here are the things we need to do better. Here's what it looks like. Here's where we need to go, to give them some goals, to give them something very specific to work on. One of the things that I like to do is, especially after a loss, be able to come back, talk about it, and then be able to move forward from it. Sometimes if you want to be able to address it, give them some reasons, give them the answers that they were looking for, and then be able to move forward. And I think they've handled that pretty well.